gentlemen, this is the Broadway hillbilly, Walter O'Keefe. Michael O'Keefe, oldest boy, the one who works. Here in the studio, we're about to tell you the sad story of the tattooed lady. Listen carefully to the first chorus, and it won't hurt you a bit if you sing the next few choruses yourself. And ladies, please sing it with feeling. Imagine that you yourself are tattooed. All right, Lem, give me the pitch pipe. Oh, I just heard a story that rings in my ears. It's one of the saddest a soul ever hears. To think of it makes me break out into tears. It deals with a man and his mate. Mother Eve in the Garden of Eden heard the serpent the same as this lad. And this girl might have turned from temptation except for a terrible snake in the grass. Oh, shame on the man who pursued her, the villain who viciously wooed her. She fell in a faint, so he pulled out his paint, and the first thing she knew, he tattooed her. Her downfall began like an innocent thing. Her husband went off to go fishing one spring, so she joined her girlfriend to go on a fling. They all went to bathe at the beach. Then this artist came up with his paint pot and his needle to toy with her cat. She allowed him to tinker. He painted a fiend who was sawing a woman in half. Oh, shame on the man who pursued her, the villain who viciously wooed her. She fell in a faint, so he pulled out his paint, and the first thing she knew, he tattooed her. The girl wasn't bright, and the fellow was smart. Now that he'd made such a favorable start, he made her believe she was helping his art. They met every day after that. Never once did she think that he loved her, nor did she think that he'd do her harm, till the day that he tattooed in red, white, and blue, and he wrote, "I love you" on her arm. Oh, shame on the man who pursued her, the villain who viciously wooed her. She fell in a faint, so he pulled out his paint, and the first thing she knew, he tattooed her. Oh, I think it's beautiful. You know, ladies and gentlemen, it's really refreshing in these days of hot-cha and crooning and boo-boo to realize that people still have a deep taste for the good old-fashioned type of singing such as this. I don't know, somehow or other, this has the feeling of the rosary to me. All right, Lemuel, give me the pitch pipe again. He painted her thigh and he painted her hip, and then he wrote welcome on her upper lip. But she was a lady and she wouldn't strip. She said, "I won't pose in the nude, 'cause my mother said no nudes is good nudes. And besides, I'm another man's spouse. You may ply me with gin, but I'll never give in. I'm beginning to think you're a louse." Oh, shame on the man who pursued her, the villain who viciously wooed her. She fell in a faint, so he pulled out his paint, and the first thing she knew, he tattooed her. Her husband came home, and they instantly kissed. His eyes read the writing from elbow to wrist. He foamed at the mouth and eventually hissed. His rage drove him utterly a-snay. She was hurt by his attitude deeply and hysterically started to laugh. So she pulled down her stocking and showed him the beast who was sawing a woman in half. Oh, shame on the man who pursued her, the villain who viciously wooed her. She fell in a faint, so he pulled out his paint, and the first thing she knew, he tattooed her. No chance did she have to explain things, for then he yelled, "Never dampen my bath mat again." and now she gets tattooed whenever she can. She works in a circus for pay, and her soft epidermis is painted with the pictures of sailors and such. And if you've got a needle, you too can tattoo on that skin that they all love to touch.
Oh, shame on the man who pursued her, the villain who viciously wooed her. She fell in a faint, so he pulled out his paint, and the first thing she knew, he tattooed her.
Now let that be a lesson to you.